Hello everyone, welcome to Learning by Insight. Today we are going to start with the poem titled No Second Troy, which is written by W.B. Yeats or William Butler Yeats. This poem was written in 1916 during Irish Revolution in Ireland but got published in 1921. This poem consists of 12 lines. Before going further with the poem, one needs to understand the significance of the title as well as the history behind it as to why and under what circumstances this poem was written. There are two major things to know about it. First, Troy is the name of the Bronze Age city in now called Turkey, which was attacked in the Trojan War. Now, why did this war take place? There was a king Menelaus who ruled Sparta in Greece, whose wife Helen fell in love with the prince of Troy named Paris, who took her to his city. It is still not clear whether she was taken away by force or had eloped with him. The king Menelaus attacked Ireland to get his wife Helen back from Prince Paris. This prince was a handsome one, but not brave enough to sustain the attack. Therefore, Prince Paris was defeated, and because of the war, Troy city was burned to ashes. Second, Maud Gonne was an actress and Irish political leader who rejected W.B. Yeats' love and proposal many a times and married John McBride in 1903. Maud Gonne was a revolutionary. She was of violent nature, just the opposite of Yeats, who was not a part of any revolution. In 1916 Eastern Rising or Eastern Rebellion, Maud was also caught and sentenced to death but was forgiven because she was a female. Yeats also considers her as the reason for bloodshed and the violence created. So in this poem, W.B. Yeats is addressing it to Maud Gonne. Now there are two themes in this poem. First, unrequited love, and second, revolution of Irish people. Why should I blame her that she filled my days with misery? In this line, it's a rhetorical question. Rhetorical question is one for which the questioner does not expect a direct answer. Here, in this line, her and she refers to Maud Gonne. The poet is referring to Maud Gonne that I should not blame her for anything that happened to me, but indirectly he is pointing to her only. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked this question. Or that she would of late have taught to ignorant men most violent ways, or hurled the little streets upon the great, had they but courage equal to desire. Here, ignorant men refers to the people of Ireland, little streets means low class people, and the word great refers to Britain leaders. The poet is blaming her that since she was a revolutionary, she must have made innocent people stand against British people. Otherwise, they did not have the courage to revolt and they actually did not intend to do that. In the line, or hurled the little streets upon the great, the metaphor is being used. What could have made her peaceful with a mind, that nobleness made simple as a fire, with beauty like a tightened bow, a kind that is not natural in an age like this, being high and solitary and most stern. Here, tightened bow means full power, high means beauty, solitary means alone, and the word stern refers to very serious. In these lines, the poet is wondering what incident made a beautiful lady such as Maud a sharp one. She is a kind of lady who is not easy to find in today's age because she had beauty with fierce nature and stiff decisions in her acts. So definitely she belongs to some other era. Why? What could she have done, being what she is? Was there another Troy for her to burn? Here, the poet says what Maud must have done, what changes she must have undergone through that made her change drastically. She is so fierce that had there been another Troy city, she would have played the same role in Ireland as Helen did in destroying Troy. The poet is taking out his outburst that she is solely responsible for all the bloodshed because she did two things. First, she rejected Yeats, and secondly, she gave spark to the revolution. Thank you.